How could the Japanese do this to us? I'm so mad. When I'm trying to get to my post, we are hit again, and lights go out completely. This one is a lot more severe and a direct hit. The hit definitely ripped a big hole in the vessel. Water is flooding in very fast. We are all dying. No one can survive. A minute later, the vessel is filled with water, and everyone is dead before the submarine gets to the bottom. After this hypnotic session, Dr. Brown went to the U.S. Navy Historical Center in Washington, D.C., and was able to verify Bruce's recollections as James in his past life. After this hypnotic past life regression, Bruce left all James' terror and anxiety in the submarine and was relieved of his former phobias. As we can see from this case, reincarnation proves to be real. During the life-after-life cycle, the panic that had died with James reincarnated with James. We believe that Bruce also stored his hatred toward the Japanese deeply inside his soul, because his past life had been ruthlessly destroyed by the Japanese. Feelings such as panic, anger, hatred do not disappear in one's reincarnation. So why not dispense our kindness instead of hostility to people around us? We discussed above the past life memory under hypnosis. Yet, hypnosis is not the only technique to recall one's past life memories. For instance, many traditional religions teach people to remember past lives through meditation. And some people can even recall past lives without any technique. Let me talk about a case investigated by Dr. Ian Stevenson, an emeritus professor of psychiatry at the University of Virginia in the United States. Professor Stevenson engaged in the scientific research in reincarnation in the past 40 years. By collecting more than 3,000 cases of children who, without hypnosis, remember their past lives, Dr. Ian Stevenson offers convincing scientific evidence for reincarnation. Some of these children can describe in detail what happened in their past lives. Others recognized their relatives and friends in their past lives. Some children are even able to speak their past life languages. In the deceased person, in each case, Dr. Stevenson documents the child's statements and identifies the deceased person the child remembers being, and verifies the facts of the deceased person's life that match the child's memory. He even matches the birthmarks and defects to wounds and scars on the deceased, verified by medical records. His strict research methods systematically ruled out all possible normal explanation but reincarnation for the child's memory. One of his interesting cases that I will be presenting is obtained from 20 cases suggestive of reincarnation. The first edition of this book was published as Volume 26 of the Proceedings of American Society for Psychiatry Research in 1966. And I read his third revised edition that was published in 1992. This case investigates an Indian girl by the name of Swanlata, who vividly remembered 2 of her past lives without hypnosis. Swanlata is the daughter of Sri Mishra and was born on the 2nd of March, 1948. The family lived in Pune, India. When she was 4 years old, Swanlata was able to remember and describe her past lives. She stated that she was a member of a family of Pathak and lived in another Indian city called Ketni in her past life. Her present life's family is totally unrelated to the Pathak family. One day, when Swanlata and her father passed by the city of Ketni, Swanlata suddenly suggested that they go to her house together to have a tea. Her house was just nearby. Professor Stevenson and his fellow researchers began to investigate this case. They successfully located the Pathak family according to Swanlata's instructions. Swanlata stated that she was a mother by the name of Biya in the Pathak family. She passed away and left her husband and 2 sons in 1939. Swanlata was able to correctly recognize her husband, her sons, and other relatives in the family. Once she met the family member, she was able to state the family member's name and relationship to her. Professor Stevenson and his fellow researchers tried to present difficult tests to Swanlata. For instance, Murli, the son of Biya, tried to mislead Swanlata and for almost 24 hours insisted that he was not Biya's son, but someone else. However, Swanlata was never misled and insisted that he was her son, Murli. Swanlata also identified the room where Biya had died. And more interestingly, Swanlata revealed a secret of Biya's husband, who took her 1,200 rupees from a box in which she had kept money. No one else knew this secret, and Biya's husband later acknowledged taking the money. So be careful. Never take others' money without return, because we can never escape from our creditors. As you might have noticed, Biya passed away in 1939, but Swanlata was born in 1948. There was a 9-year difference in time. So where had she been during those 9 years? Swanlata said that after the life being Biya, she had been born into a family in Bangladesh as a girl. The girl died at the age of 9. This intermediate life exactly matched the time difference